Can you believe that Kanye West released the College Dropout 21 years ago today? So first of all, what an album. How good was this album? I'm going to talk about my 5 favorite tracks from this album a bit later in the video. But if you could do me a favor, I post content like this all the time. If you like this content or anything that I do, if you could press the like button, I would be most appreciative. Now, the College Dropout was Kanye West's debut studio album, and this album almost never got made. Various people in the music industry weren't really convinced about Kanye West as a rapper. Even Jay-Z, I think Jay-Z has mentioned that he thought he was much better as a producer, and as a rapper, he weren't totally convinced. Kanye West even touches on this, I think, on the last track, Last Call, perhaps. But it was such a good album. Let's look at the track list. So that's the track list at the bottom. I think there's 2 versions of the albums. This is the full-length one. The only issue I've got is track number 12, Slow Jams. Now, I've always thought that that album was part of Twista's album. So, when I do my top 5, I'm not going to consider Slow Jams. So, just in case you're wondering where it is, because Slow Jams would probably be in my top 5, but for this case, it won't be. So, before I get into my top 5, just a couple of facts about this album. Do you know Kanye West had to financially produce some of the album himself? And the reason being, like I mentioned, Rockefeller weren't overly convinced about how successful it would be. So let's go into my top 5 tracks on the album. And please let me know in the comments what's yours, if you agree, if you disagree. Let's agree to disagree. It's all good, I don't mind. So at number 5, I've got the new workout plan. Now, I remember first time hearing this song and I thought, you know what, it's quite catchy. Obviously, what he's talking about is a bit funny. And over the years, I've grown to like it more and more. I think this is probably going to be the one on the list where most people will be like, I'm not sure about that. But for me, this is number 5. At number 4, we probably got the most controversial track on the album, Jesus Walks. And this was one of the singles of the album, but did you know it almost never got released as a single, as the record company were overly convinced it would sell? I've got a lot of time for Jesus Walks, actually. Now, at number 3 on my list is this song, 2 words. So this stars Kanye, obviously, and Mos Def. Couldn't really find a better picture than this, but I really like 2 words. Really, really good song. Mos Def's really good in it. And I think this track is really underrated, along with number 2 on my list, which is. So this song was almost going to take top spot. I really, really like Let Me Down. If you remember it, it's the song, Jay-Z's in it, and then you've got the choir at the end. Great song. So underrated. However, this is number 2. So number 1, and there is no doubt really. Through the Wire. Through the Wire is my favorite track on this album. On a side note, did you know a lot of this was recorded when he had his jaw wired shut after the accident? Brilliant song, Through the Wire. This is my number 1. Please let me know in the comments, what is yours? Do you agree?